Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Pit Road Productions. And we are going to be here live for the Canadian F1200 eSports Championship for round 3, live at Summit Park, sponsored by Kartini Racing. Well, I've got to say, Richard, it's going to be a absolute belter of an evening today. Certainly, it's going to be a lot of fun having these F1200s going around. And certainly, let's get a little bit of a quick walkthrough, actually, on your knowledge here at Summit Point.
Well, Summit Point's going to be a fabulous track for these Formula Vees here tonight. I've raced a number of times at this track at different classes, including the V, and this track is perfectly set up for the V here. We're watching them go around a little lap. We're doing open qualifying right now. That corner there is definitely one of the tougher ones. You got to keep it off the sand, and that one's a little off track, so that's not going to count. But they're just setting themselves up for a hot lap here.
Well, I'll tell you what, while these guys do a couple more outlaps, let's take a very quick look at the schedule. And as you can see here, they were started at Lime Rock Park, and then they're heading here today for Summit Point Raceway, with round 3 taking them to the American track of Laguna Seca before returning home to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. So it's going to be an absolute belter, ladies and gentlemen. But as we're going to continue here, we're going to go on board with Fortulo, and we're going to try and get a onboard lap here with him. Richard, do be honest, sir.
Well, thanks. Thor's one of the favorites, I think, here tonight. He's just exiting the final corner. I don't have the corner names, actually, but going down the straightaway, he looks like he's pulling a little bit of a draft, and that's important if you're doing open qualifying, trying to get a fast lap. Thor's using that to his best advantage, hanging on the left side, entering into corner 1. You want to carry a lot of speed through here, and you can lose a lot of time if you don't get your braking and acceleration points right. Exiting fully wide out, staying in the draft. Thor knows what he's doing.
100%. Fortulo is actually a legitimate Formula Vee driver over in the UK. I have seen him driving around Brands Hatch in the pouring rain, but thankfully a lot drier here today as they're heading, I don't know if I'd call it the back straight, but it's pretty damn close. It's going to be a very crucial section here. Certainly the car can get a little bit unstable just here, and certainly you want to get the braking done very efficiently there. It can get a little bit squirrely as you head around the left-hander. Now, this next little section here, you got like a long 180-degree right-hander followed it by another chicane. It is certainly, if you start to battle in this section of the course, you will find you will lose a lot of time to the car ahead of you.
Yeah, going through that carousel's, you've just got to get it right. You don't get in your acceleration zone right, you're going to lose a lot of time. Here's Thor coming up to finish the lap. He's got one corner left. This one you've got to use all of the track to maximize your speed, and it looks like Thor's got this handled quite well. Let's see where he ends up. Just the last couple hundred meters here.
Definitely one of the longest straights here. Certainly in a Formula V, it does take a little while. But again, as we were saying earlier, the draft is going to be a absolutely massive factor in this. And where it's an open qualifying as well, hugely dependent on if you can find somebody on track who can really give you that little bit of a pull along. As Stuart Ross, one of the younger drivers, is currently sat in P1.
You want to try and do
while we were
traffic?
watching Thor, Stuart went out and set himself a hot lap. He's got a 3/10 second lead, and that's pretty impressive, and might be tough to catch up to.
Certainly, I do think the draft is going to be quite influential there. Certainly, having raced Fortulo myself, I'm honestly expecting him to be top of the food chain here. But certainly, you know, there's still a lot to play for. 14 cars in the field today, and actually, who's distinctly absent is Brendan Hawkin, who we certainly seen have incredible dominance last season. Who's actually now a real-life racing driver, ladies and gentlemen. So it just goes to show that you know, the sim to reality experience can indeed happen.
And that's the nice thing about this series here, Zippy, because if I'm not mistaken, does the winner not get an opportunity to drive a V?
That is absolutely right, sir. Certainly they get to do a testing session there in the Formula V, and that is sponsored by Kartini Racing. So certainly, I know I certainly want to have a go. And if you wanted to even rent one, you can indeed talk to Eugene Kartini about getting that done as well. But we're going to head over to the... Oh, sorry. We're going to head over to the cameras very, very quickly. Actually, Richard, tell us a little bit about what you would do for strategy here today.
Well, strategy here is you've got to stay in the draft. I mean, I think some of the favorites here would be Charles Etienne Boucher, Fortulo, Stuart Ross, obviously with his nice fast lap, but you got to stay in the draft because these cars are draft dependent, especially on that nice long straightaway down the front. As long as you stay in the draft, you got yourself a chance when we get near the end. We got 3 races. you want to be there for all three, because there's only 12 races in this series, 4 weeks, 3 races each. So you want to be there when it counts.
Oh, absolutely. And I think certainly you got to play up the risk versus reward card. And I got to say, CR Reid, he was my iRacing mentor. And you know what? People have tried to teach me a lot of different things, but that's one of the few that stuck, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, if he's watching this broadcast, he's going to have a very, very slight giggle there. I say he has the voice of Canadian Morgan Freeman, ladies and gentlemen, but sadly, not managed to lure him into the booth yet. Certainly, I don't know if I'm comparing to yourself. I'm trying to think. It's probably Jack Nicholson would be yourself, Mr. Swindell.
Well, let me tell you something about that, guys. Anyhow, let's go back to the live action here, Zippy, if you don't mind. I think they'd rather see that than us.
Well, absolutely. And certainly we've got somebody here who we do recognize, and it's Alex McLean. He's currently, for a second there, it looked like they were going 3 wide in qualifying, which is a little bit on the braver side, ladies and gentlemen, but certainly, doing what he can. And actually, I think he had one of my favorite paints, if I remember rightly. I do recognize the paint, and I think it had all the Pit Road production logos on it, and it even has the matching color. So definitely a biased opinion here in the commentary booth when it comes to the paint schemes. But certainly he's doing about average right now. Sorry, Alex, he's currently in 7th position in a 14-car field. So I'm hoping that he can deliver a bit more when it comes to race time. But currently just about 5 minutes left in this qualifying session. One of the shorter tracks in the circuit. These guys posting lap times about 1.5 minutes, with currently the leader being a 126.75 and just a 10th separating first and second as it stands right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about Alex. He had himself a really good practice session, so I expect him to be up there. He may just be caught without a draft partner, and without that draft partner, that's going to cost you 3/4 of a second.
Oh, absolutely, indeed. But let's keep a look going through the... oh, here we go. This could be a very good opportunity. Actually, let's try and get a better look at this paint as well. There we go.
Oh, that's just beautiful.
Christmas paint, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very festive, albeit late at this point, but that's okay.
Not late, Zippy. That's early. That is early.
Oh, okay, yeah. The shoe is on the other foot, as it would seem, but certainly the very festive paint of Ethan Orr, ladies and gentlemen, currently riding in 6th place right now. Let's have a check-in with some other drivers as well. We have Ethan Bigger Jones. Now, I've got to say the name doesn't seem familiar. There's actually quite a few people I'm seeing missing today as well. Brandon Hawkins is one of them. Samuel Below as well. I was expecting to see them here on the grid. Maybe a little bit of a reminder where these races are about a month between each session. But certainly, it's good news for the guys that are here, because potentially some more points to be scored. But another person, again, as you were saying, is this fight. Charles Etienne Boucher. I think they're definitely going to be somebody to watch. Even though they're currently P3 right now, we have seen incredible racecraft from this driver so far.
Yeah, he's only 0.3 off the pace in qualifying so far. So I expect Charles Etienne Boucher to be right up there at the front. And as for Evan Bigger Jones, he's in 10th place overall in the standings, so he was there at the last race. So he's about where we'd expect him to be in qualifying thus far. He seems to be one of those drivers who just clean, consistent laps, makes sure he finishes. He's kind of in the mid pack. Let's see if he's got a little more tonight. So let's keep going.
I was going to say, I'm just looking at the points right now, and we're going to go through them a little bit differently here today. We are working on some wicked improvements. We had almost a little bit of an epiphany this evening, so certainly going to be making things a little bit easier on the broadcast side for both us and for the league admins. But currently, this gentleman is leading the charge. That's Fortulo. He's currently got 254 points. With this gentleman here, Charles Etienne Boucher, he's in second with only, hang on a second here, got to do some zippy maths. 6 points behind. So at 6 points behind, and he's actually tied with Brandon Hawkin for second place, but Brandon Hawkin not present in the session. If we have a look at 4th place is David Bampson, who's currently not here as well, but then in 5th is this person here, Ian Pagadala. They're currently there in 5th with 164 points. So certainly a little bit of a leap there. Race 1 for them did not score well at Lime Rock at 0 points, but able to get a nice 100 point net there in race 3. So certainly potential scene from this driver. Still a lot to play for. We're only on to round 2 for in total, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, we've got a lot of races left in this season, and with a couple of absentee people this week, it gives some of those drivers who are just out of the top 4 or 5 a chance to gain some positions. So let's see how things shape up.
Well, certainly as well. What is interesting, actually, we're going to mention very quickly, we're going to go back to this gentleman here. They are showing as an American driver, actually, according to my standings, saying that 4-2 I know is in the UK. So certainly if he wants to collect the prize, should he be successful and win, I do believe that the flight and accommodation is not included. So certainly if you're going to go on holiday, ladies and gentlemen, certainly myself, do I want to go and, you know, go to a museum and stuff like that? No. Do I want to drive a race car? Heck yes, that is my kind of holiday. So certainly Ethan Orr looking to try and maybe make a little bit of a trip over the border to Canada, and you know the way things are going, he might choose to try and stay here. I can't say I fault him for that. We'll probably stay off that note, but certainly 4-2 showing as a apparently a Japanese driver, but I do know that they're in the UK. But certainly a few people here that we're seeing, Xavier Martin, you know, I do see them quite active as well in the chat, and I'm hoping that they have a bit of a better race and get some better results in, as we have under a minute left to go in qualifying. I do wonder, can they improve from P9 right now?
Well, yeah, we're down to the last lap here for most of these drivers, I believe. So it's now or never. Let's see what we've got.
I ain't gonna live forever. And everybody's just tuned out, ladies and gentlemen. Karaoke here in the booth at Pit Road Productions today. What can I say? It's a Friday, ladies and gentlemen.
And it's not good karaoke there, Zippy. It's not good karaoke.
Well, I can see we have a Ryan Mazumda here in the chat cheering for Pagadala, so that's absolutely fantastic news. Thank you very much for tuning in. Guys, if you are in the chat, I will do my best to keep an eye on it. By all means, let us know what your predictions are, any discussion points you want us to bring up. We'll certainly do our very best to mention them on the stream for you. But ladies and gentlemen, that is indeed the end of qualifying. And let's see if we can get a grid up for you in just a very few short moments. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here is the grid, and Stuart Ross was able to take that first spot away from Ryan Pagadala, who's currently the most cheered for person in chat, who takes second. Charles Etienne Boucher is going to be third, alongside Fortula in fourth, with Evan Bigger-Jones in fifth and Chris Marion in sixth. Ethan Orr, the American driver, takes seventh, with Alex McLean alongside in the 69 machine for eighth. Xavier Martin in ninth, with Dennis Barkhouse alongside, closing out your top 10 with Rob Wright and Chuck Cavallo there in 11th and 12th, and Michael Lenters and the man himself, Eugene Cardini, in 13th and 14th. So definitely one of the smaller grids here today, but certainly, you know what, a lot of points to be scored for the guys who are indeed racing. So certainly going to be a lot of fun action here today.
Yeah, the size of the field's a little bit smaller than the last time we were out, but you know what? It's not the size of the field, it's the racing that matters, and I think we're going to see a good race here tonight at Summit Point Raceway.
Well, certainly, I am definitely inclined to agree with you here. As you can see, they are currently lining up for the grid. I got 3 cars currently not yet sat on the track yet, so certainly a little bit more to go. We do have a little bit of a countdown. Definitely going to be a lot of fun. Is that a Cookie Monster helmet? I mean, it kind of is.
I don't know if it's a Cookie Monster, but there's definitely some googly eyes on the top there.
I do wonder if they have the same pre-race ritual as yourself. But certainly, you know, I've got to say, as helmets go, that's pretty up there for me. That's my kind of humor, ladies and gentlemen. So absolutely fantastic stuff for the helmet.
I have to be honest with you, Zippy. I raced against Alex on Wednesday in another open-wheeled series, and he had that same helmet on there, and it was very entertaining to watch in the broadcast. I hope our viewers here get entertained by it as well.
Certainly, and there you go. I think that is everybody on the grid, ladies and gentlemen. You can see here, Stuart Ross is going to be the man leading the charge, so certainly going to be a very fun race indeed. But certainly myself, I think I'm going to want to try and get it single file as quickly as possible, and certainly going down the start-finish straight into turn 1, I think is going to be a prime time to try and make them passing opportunities.
Oh, definitely. We've got a short pace lap here, so that we're going to get going really quickly here. So you definitely want to take advantage of this first corner because you want to be single file after you come in round for corner 2.
No, absolutely. If we have a look on board, you know, he's going to be there. He's going to have a whole field of cars behind him, ladies and gentlemen. But green, and Stuart Ross is off as they're heading down to turn 1. And you can already see a lot of these guys getting into single file. Certainly, it's one of these machines where if you are out in the open, you will find the speedo literally drop. As you can see there, that looks like Iron Pagadala looking at making a move, trying to take P1 in turn 1. And I believe right now he's ahead by just a no. Stuart Ross is there on the inside as they go side by side out of turn 1, heading towards turn 2.
Yeah, it's a good battle here. We're coming into turn 2. He's gone at the inside. He went on the outside on the turn 1, but that gives him the inside for turn 2. Let's see if he can hold it and keep everything at bay. And it looks like everybody sorted themselves out, and we got a nice clean start going, Zippy.
Well, for the most part, I am seeing a little bit of a crash report, and I believe Alex McLean has jumped to the pits as well. So certainly something has gone on there. We're going to take a quick look a little bit after this first lap, but right now the action is all happening. I thought for a second there they were going to go free wide, and no, that's a spin. That's Iron Pagadala. A little bit of a nudge there from Stuart Ross. Certainly did not look intentional, but that has pushed Pagadala right back down through the field. They are now resting in 7th place, back on the track and able to continue, but that is Stuart Ross with pressure from the car behind of Charles Etienne Boucher.
Oh man, our viewers who are cheering on Pagadella are going to be upset with that one, but let's see what's going on here. We've got a nice tight battle still with the top 5 cars all nose to tail as we finish off lap 1.
Well, certainly, and this is where you're going to see that draft really come into effect. You can see there Stuart Ross doing everything he can, already hugging the inside line. He does not want to have to go the long way round. And you can see there, real estate at a premium, as I'm going to say, they're going to go 3 wide, potentially go 4 wide here at this course. The Formula Vee, one of the smaller cars, and Stuart Ross says, nope, I'm not into that, and tucks in behind. So right now, Fortulo takes the lead. Charles Etienne Boucher is in second. Why I say that, as Stuart Ross been able to sneak just a smidge ahead.
Yeah, I think we're going to see this a lot as the laps go on, is we're going to see the changes on the end of, or the turn 1 entry, and that's what happened here. That draft zone is just way too large. Little cars going off onto the dirt there, but that's okay. You might get an off track, but it's not going to slow you down at all. We've still got, oh man, this battle is getting nice and tight. We've got 6 cars here. We're coming up towards the tighter, more technical part of the track. We're just about to enter the carousel, and you got to keep your momentum going here, or you're apt to get past halfway down the straightaway.
Well, certainly. I mean, this is one of them tracks where, you know, where you position the car and where you choose to make the moves is going to be absolutely crucial. It's going to be make or break in the success you have going around it. Like if we look behind, you can see there Stuart Ross hot on the tails of Fortulo, and you see absolutely, yeah, he's going for the move, but for how long? You know, yes, it is going to put him ahead. Well, I say ahead of Charles Etienne Boucher going down the start-finish straight, but is it going to be enough? You can already see there 2 wide. Are we going to see 3 wide, ladies and gentlemen, as these guys, yep, they're certainly trying 3 wide now. Are we going to get a fork? We've got the bidding of 3 now, 3 now, 3 now. Sadly not. We're not going to get a 4th, but certainly looking for a gap, looking for a bit of real estate and some very careful positioning there. You can see Etienne Boucher on the inside as, yes, they are indeed going to go 3 wide into turn 1.
Yeah, what exciting racing, and a nice clean racing up front at least. But those 2 battling on the last corner allowed Stuart Ross to get advantage, but looks like he lost it entering turn 1. But these cars are nice and tight. We still got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 6 cars here coming in to the technical section again, just like last lap, and I'd expect that all the way to the finish.
Right now, it appears that these guys are doing the cucaracha, as you can see there. A little bit of dust being kicked up from behind. And speaking of which, let's have a quick look to see some of the incidents that happened a little bit earlier on. So right now we've got Michael Lenters. Let's see exactly what happened here. A little bit of an onboard as they head down into turn 1. Somebody's just absolutely sent it over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 car collision there. Cartini just says, thank you very much. Off he goes. He trundles on through, but I do wonder what exactly happened to Alex McLean as well. Certainly he was involved in an incident, and maybe he got a little bit of a different point of view. Maybe he was caught in that same incident. And you're going to see the carnage unfold on the right-hand side. And yeah, nowhere really McLean can go. And oh my gosh, he kind of cocks his leg up on that one. Not a lot he can do, and then ends up having another incident a little bit shortly after. So definitely not what these guys had in mind. But we're going to return to the battle for the lead right now. As you can see here, these guys are going to be at it the entire race. Certainly still a 6-car battle as they're going 3 wide, looking to make it 4 wide. I can see it looks like Fortulo having a little bit of an idea behind, but choosing not to go for it. And I do wonder if that was a little bit of contact there, maybe very, very close. I got nothing on the radar, as it were, but certainly these guys all slugging it out right now. And actually, we're going to have a very quick peek back. It looks like Chuck Carvello is having a bit of a battle as well with Chris Marion. So that's more action happening. Eugene Cartini about 1.5 seconds back. We're going to stay with the leaders. As you can see there, Stuart Ross dipping a wheel in the sand.
Yeah, as I said before, dipping the wheel in the sand is not going to hurt you at all. As long as you stay under the incident limit, everything's going to be okay. Rather unfortunate that first lap incident looked like the one car got off onto the grass, and everybody tried to avoid it, and it didn't work out so well. But we still got 1, 2, 3. We got 6 cars here. They're nose to tail. They're not going too wide through the carousel, which is smart. Let's see if they keep smart here. Stewart, don't try and battle him here on the last corner. Save it for the end of the straight. If you battle on the last corner, all that's going to do is let Evan Bigger Jones get a chance at getting by you here. Oh, a little bad exit, and it looks like he got by anyway. So we're going to have a nice, fun end of this turn one straightaway here, Sippy. It's going to be nice and exciting, I think, again, just like it was on the previous few laps.
Well, certainly, what's interesting about this dynamic is, don't get me wrong, if you manage to break away, that isn't it. That isn't like game over. You've not necessarily got it, because if these guys work together, they will catch you up in a matter of laps. Oh, not even that. I think they'd take half a lap and they would catch you up. So certainly, you've got to keep that in mind. And the race is indeed not going to be won in turn one, contrary to many popular beliefs there. But certainly, these guys trying everything they can. And I think a little bit of strategy may be going on. But with this being such a short race, there is no pit stop required. I do wonder, when is it that you want to make a move? Certainly, you need to be nearer the front of that pack, because that is quite a big off there. And I believe that was actually Stuart Ross taking the scenic route. You can see Stuart Ross currently there in P3. He's got his eyes, and that actually looked like a little bit of grass there from Charles-Etienne Boucher, doing everything he can. But certainly, these guys are still going hard at it. And I've got to say, the Formula Vee does honestly deliver a absolutely fantastic quality of racing, especially here at Summit Point Raceway.
Perfect track for this car. I think we had a great track last time. We got a great track this time. Here we come up to the last corner. We got Stuart Ross, Charles-Etienne Boucher. Let's look back from him and see what's going on. We got Thor Tulo right behind him. Oh man, it's going to be great on the end. Oh, what happened there? I missed something, Zippy.
That was Thor Tulo. I don't know exactly what happened, but Thor Tulo sent absolutely hurtling into the woods. We're going to take another quick look at that. Wowzers.
Yeah, and usually when you get up on that hill, you're pretty much done, and you get sent into the stratosphere. So lucky he managed to keep it going.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised he was able to keep that going. Let's take a quick look here and see what exactly happened. You see there, using a bit of the track. Stuart Ross behind. I do wonder, was it a little bit of a bump draft? Oh, yeah, that's got to be a bump draft. I believe I may have switched to the...
Yeah, we're not on the right incident there.
Let's try again. Oh my gosh. There we go.
Okay, we're going to have to back it up, Zippy.
Yeah, no, it appears that the replay gods are not alongside with us on this occasion, but Thor Tulo actually having a couple of incidents here. This is why we're going between a few of them. There we go. This is the one we were looking for, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
looks like Stuart Ross.
Yeah, bump drafting doesn't really work in these cars.
Let's try this once more. Yep, no, I got to admit, that definitely wasn't the best move. I do wonder if that will be appealed after the race, because obviously there being so much at stake, you do get a little bit more interest when it comes to protests and stuff like that, but certainly not the most greatest demonstration there of bump drafting, we'll put it like that. But if you look further up, though, this has changed things up a little bit. Xavier Martin has been able to climb. Actually, at the time I started the sentence, he was up 5 positions, so doing incredibly well. Stuart Ross at this point hanging on by a thread. But you can see here the battle now, it was 6 cars, it's now down to 3. And Ethan Orr has really been able to come into his stride and try and put a mark not only on the podium, but potentially a race win.
Yeah, this is great to see. We got a couple drivers in podium positions right now that I was not expecting to see, and they're hanging all over Charles-Etienne Boucher. So coming up to the carousel, we got a little wiggle, and that's going to cost some time, and it's going to cost a position as well, Zippy.
Well, certainly, you got to drive it as fast as you can, but obviously keep it within the limits. And right now, this is exactly what Etienne Boucher was looking for. He's been able to pull away a little bit of a gap, about a second as it stands so far. So the question is, if you're Ethan Orr or Evan Bigger Jones, do you guys fight for position, or do you concentrate on not just fighting each other, but catching up there to the car ahead? You can see there, the gap was a second. I already closed it down to about 6 tenths, ladies and gentlemen. So you can already see there just how powerful that draft is.
Yeah, they definitely can't be fighting. If they're fighting, they've got no chance, and Charles is going to just walk away with this. So they're playing smart. They're nose to tail. They're trying to make as much time up as they can. Now they just got to run clean to close that gap a little further. They're down to about 0.8 of a second, and they got to close it down because Charles got some pace.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've seen Charles have incredible pace so far. You know, been an excellent demonstration of how to really get the most out of this Formula Vee. Certainly, Fortulo, not what he was looking for. Currently down 3 spots. He's got nobody nearby ahead of him. Argan Pagadala, they were involved in that incident earlier. As we switch them, we see them having a little bit of a Hasselhoff moment there. But actually saying that, it looks like they're back into a battle. Yeah, they've caught up to Stuart Ross and Javier Martin. So, you know, we could be an interesting dynamic going on here as two of these guys, Stuart Ross dropping 3 spots so far. Javier, if he can stay with the back of Stuart Ross, they may be able to get pulled up towards the lead pack. It depends as well how much are these two guys going to fight. Ethan Orr and, well, I say Ethan Orr and Evan Bigger Jones, they've separated quite a lot, and actually Ethan Orr now in a hot pursuit of Charles Hedier and Boucher.
Yeah, the key is they got to work together if they want any chance, because I think we're down to the last lap or two here, because these are only 15-minute races. They don't have a whole lot of time to make up those positions. So, I mean, Arjan Pagadella has done a great job of making up places, and it looks like he's going to make up another one here after that early incident. But it's really, really, you know, it's now or never if he's going to get up towards the podium.
Well, as you say that, it looks like Javier Martin is looking to try and capitalize on that. Stuart Ross literally hung out to dry on that occasion, but he's left the door open. And is this going to be the opportunity that Javier Martin needs? Certainly, he's having a little bit of a look. Not quite, and it gets pretty close, but not enough that he can go and capitalize on that gap being open. But certainly, I've got to say, another fantastic paint job. I'm really liking it. It looks like a carbon weave with a little bit of green, black, and white in there. And I've got to say, quite a beautiful paint there. And I do understand as well, we got Ryan Mazumda in the chat, and he used to race karts together with the league organizer of Eugene Kartini. So, oh, there you go. And Shepard is indeed back as well. So Shepard and Ryan, if you guys want to actually come into the booth at some point today, by all means, let me know if you've got Discord. We'll have a chat with you. By all means, let's get some of your guys' thoughts on the racing going on tonight.
Yeah, we always appreciate having people viewing and commenting live in the YouTube chat for us. So give us a little more information to work with. So we appreciate it, guys. Here we are. We're on. You know, we're getting to the end of the race here. It's a great battle. We got a 3-way battle here. We got Xavier Martin. He's hanging tight, and let's see if he can make a move on Stuart Ross. We got a long straightaway. We got a little 3-car battle. This is what it's all about, folks.
Well, you can see here the action is indeed starting to get even closer right now. Actually, as we say that, these guys are fighting. Stuart Ross, certainly, he's down 4 positions. He's got a lot to fight for. Certainly looking to try and capitalize on the points, especially with Brendan Hawkin not being here. And looks like he's going to get it paid off as he goes on the inside there. And actually, that's another car ahead. Is that... I think that is Evan. Yep, Evan Bigger Jones is coming into the radar, ladies and gentlemen. The position 3 may indeed be under threat as Stuart Ross is leading this pack of 3 cars incredibly close. Certainly been a little bit of a lively race for him, and potentially pulling himself towards the podium, a little bit of a redemption, as it were.
Hey, Zippy, is it possible for us to take a look at the leaders? I think there might be a close battle up front.
Yep, go right ahead, sir. Carry on.
Yeah. You know, thank you very much. We're coming down towards the end of this, so I wanted to see where we're at. We got Charles-Etienne Boucher still hanging on against Ethan Orr, but Ethan Orr is not giving up in this chase. He's managed to hang on to the draft. He's just a 2-car battle now to see who's going to come out with this title for the first round.
Well, certainly it's going to be incredibly close, and it's going to continue to stay incredibly close, I believe. Charles-Etienne Boucher is not going to hand that battle over, but saying that, as we look back here, you can see this freeway battle is still being led by Stuart Ross, and the gap down to Evan Bigger Jones has closed down even further. It's now under half a second, ladies and gentlemen. I've not yet seen. There it is. There's the white flag, so there could be a lot happening here. We've got the lead battle going on. Ethan Orr is in hot pursuit of Etienne Boucher. He's going to be very keen to defend that. You can see further back, Ian Pagadala. He's trying everything he can, as is Stuart Ross, and I think he was going to go free wide there. Things better off. It's Stuart Ross with the defensive move. Could have ended in chaos, and he's gone for a very wide line there, and this could be exactly what Argan Pagadala needs to try and take up that final podium spot.
We got a good battle for 1 and 2, and we got 4 cars battling for 3. It looks like Argan Pagadala is making a move here, and has made that move. It's a matter of, whoa, and somebody went real wide there. It looks like they're out of that battle for the podium.
That was Bigger Jones. Evan Bigger Jones taking a scenic route there through the grass, but we got a front row seat. As you can see, this freeway, four-way battle evolving. That's Stuart Ross on the inside, Arvin Pagadala on the outside, and then Xavier Martin in the middle. But we're going to head back to the lead pack very, very quickly because it looks like Eddie Boucher is going to be getting ready. Not quite yet, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to keep an eye on it. As you can see, the battle is spicy. We could almost do with two screens at this point. Stuart Ross and Arvin Pagadala going very hard, looking for that podium. And Xavier Martin's going on the inside. They're going to go free wide, but ladies and gentlemen, I'm so sorry. We've got to keep an eye on the leader, show them the respect they deserve as they're going to cross the line. Ethan Orr doing everything he can. Is he going to be able to get that first place? Not quite. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Eddie Boucher, as we can see further back, a little bit of dust kicked up. Javier Martin is going to be a drag race. Stuart Ross is in the lead, but I think Bigger Jones has managed to redeem himself. What incredibly tight racing here for the first race at Summit Point Raceway.
Oh, fabulous finish, both for the 1 and 2 positions, and especially for that third place in the last spot on the podium. Stuart Ross pulling it off.
Wow, I got to say, it definitely wasn't the cleanest race I've seen from Stuart Ross. I do wonder if there'll be an appeal, not to really bust his chops, but certainly, you know, bump drafting does not work in these cars. And at this point, I would honestly, you know, it gets a little bit less forgiving, I would find. Certainly, you know, these things happen. And I'm not quite sure what Ryan's saying there in the chat, but these things do happen. But certainly, you know, at this point, I would be expecting a little bit less of that myself. But give us 1 second here. We are going to go through the results. And I do understand my co-host has disappeared for a little bit of nourishment. So, yeah, I will indeed do the results here in just a second here. Give me 1 second. They haven't come through on my end yet, so there's not really too much I can do. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get these results up as these guys are going to get ready to grid. So there you go. In first place, you can see Charles Etienne Boucher able to take that away from Ethan Orr in second, with Evan Bigger Jones pulling off a little bit of a miracle at the end, able to get third place and the final spot on the podium. Xavier Martin did a great job moving up through the field for fourth, with Ian Pagadala in fifth, Fortula in sixth, and Chris Marion in seventh. Oh dear, looks like Stuart Ross got put right on. In eighth place, we had Chuck Carvalho with Michael Lentis in ninth, and Stuart Ross, surprisingly, in 10th. Dennis Parkhouse took 11th with league organizer Eugene Cartini in 12th, with Alex McLean having a little bit of a wreck earlier on, as did Rob Wright in 13th and 14th. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what can I say? A very, very busy race here at the Canadian F1200 eSports Championship. Certainly with a lot on the line. These guys are certainly doing everything they can to secure themselves that hand on the prize. And I believe it's just Chris Marion we're waiting for at this point to get onto the grid. But certainly these guys, the grid order is going to be the same as it was last race. So certainly, you know, a little bit of redemption perhaps for Fortulo. Maybe he can try and move himself back up through the field and get some points. Certainly with him and Etienne Boucher being so close in the championship standings going into this round, it's he's very much got to try and secure some more points if he wants to have a chance at getting this test session here in the Cartini racing machine.
Yeah, fortunately there for Thor, there's, you know, that's only one race. So, well, looks like we're going on the next race already, Zippy.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, I can't say, it's very rude of you to go get yourself a drink and not get me one. But as I say that, it looks like Charles Etienne Boucher, yep, he is off, ladies and gentlemen, and he's already doing everything he can, trying to pull away from the field. It looks like Xavier Martin, this gentleman, is not afraid to push it free wide. As I say that, they're on the outside of the track right now. We'll have a look at blimp cam. Ladies and gentlemen, free wide as they're heading down towards turn one. Xavier Martin almost in the middle there, and you can see a little bit of a send there for the number 6 car of Ion Pagadala. And, uh-oh. That didn't sound good. We'll get back to that in a little bit, but you can see there, Martin doing everything they can, as is Arlen Pagadala, who's currently moved their way up to third. Etienne Boucher almost getting a little bit of a lead there, pulled away 6 tenths of a second now. Martin able to take second with Arlen Pagadala in third.
Wow, quite the exciting start to this, but looks like they're all nose to tail, single file, so that's where they want to be. They seem to be pushing it really hard. Whoa, a big incident, it looks like, as we're back behind in the 5th, 6th, and 7th place there, Zippy.
Well, let's take a quick look and see exactly what happened here. This is Evan Bigger-Jones. You can see this is a section I said where you're really going to have to make sure you get that braking done in a straight line. And indeed he does, but not quite enough. Clips the car in front, ends up clipping another car. Who's that? That might be Chris Marion who got tied up in that as well. The number 8 car. That number 8? I didn't see a number 8 on the field here. Yes, somebody definitely got involved in an incident, but certainly not exactly what he was looking for. So getting from the podium all the way back down to 13th place, definitely not what he had in mind. But currently we have a hard charger, and that is a 69 car of Alex McLean.
Yes, Alex, and always using number 69. I think that's just the kind of guy he is. We got a nice battle up here up front, though, and I think it's going to go like this, just like last race. I think these guys are going to try and keep it a little cleaner and save it for the last couple of laps. And you know, and I see Aryan make it up for the last race where things didn't quite go his way.
Hello.
Okay, well, I do believe we managed to get Ryan Mazumda here in the booth. As I say that, we're going to have to put that on hold. He's in a...
Oh, no!
Oh, huge accident there. That's going to need a replay.
Well,
absolute carnage here.
Trip to the infield care center on that one for sure.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's try and get this captured. Like, what on earth happened there? So you can see there's a little bit of a knock there. Absolute chaos, panic, and maybe a little bit of brakes not held. I do believe that was Fortulo potentially who got absolutely launched. Yep, Fortulo, definitely not the race he was looking for. We're going to try and take another look at that here in just a second here. Just give me 1 second here. Try and go on board with 4-2 like, oh, never mind. Let's try this again. Okay, so here's the onboard shot from 4-2. You can see here there's smoke up ahead. Goes left. Number 6 car. That's Aryan Pagadala. I gotta be honest, maybe not quite enough brake out and absolutely catapults the Formula Vee driver.
Well, once you're in the sand, it doesn't matter how much you're holding your brakes. You're gonna keep sliding, I think. But I wasn't paying too close attention on that. Let's look back at live racing. We got Rob right here. Looks like he's battling with Michael Lenters.
Michael Lenters, yeah. Well,
nice close battle.
We have managed to get somebody in here who actually knows the league admin personally, and that is Ryan Mazumda. Can you give me a mic check here, Ryan?
Oh, hello. You got me mistaken. I know Aryan, not the league.
You know Aryan. Oh, my apologies here. Let's go and put the camera, there you go, on Aryan. So tell us a little bit about Aryan and how you guys met and, you know, why he's here running in the race and you're not. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Aryan is honestly one of the best drivers I've ever seen, personally. And I've worked with many big names in esports, mostly on the R Factor 2 side. I don't know how into esports you guys are, but I've known people that work with Ferrari, Alpine, Touch. And honestly, Aryan is a special talent. We met 4 years ago karting, and he blew me out in terms of skill.
Well, at the minute, at the minute, that skill, he's landed at having a quick pit stop through the pit lane, and I'm not too sure if memory serves me right, if these guys do have a spare car available. But I gotta say, Aryan, you have a fantastic friend here in Ryan Mazumda. Certainly, I could pay somebody. Well, I couldn't. I don't have the funds to pay them thousands of dollars to say such beautiful things about me. But certainly, if you did, money well spent, sir. But certainly, absolutely fantastic background. And certainly, maybe I need to have a chat with Ryan after the show a little bit and learn a little bit more about these esports. But Ryan, as a racer yourself, tell us a little bit about what your strategy would be in this race. As we're going to go on board with Alex McLean, who's currently in a battle with Ethan Orr.
Honestly, if I had the talent to keep up with these guys, I would stay in the draft for as long as I can. Try to pull away with the guy in first, work together, try to stay behind until the very last couple laps when you would probably go for it to get out of the slipstream. But for the first 75% of the race, you just want to work together with the guy in front of you. Well, the more you battle, the more you lose time.
I got to admit, you are a man after my own heart on that one. I literally did that in a Spec Racer Ford race earlier on, working with the leader. We pulled away a 5-second gap, and then I got P2, ladies and gentlemen. So you got to make sure you time your move correctly. But Ryan, thank you very much for coming in the booth, and certainly as well, I want you to hang around actually a little bit after the show. Send me a Discord PM and tell me a little bit more about this esports stuff that you're involved with. Certainly, it's going to open my blinkers a little bit to a bit more beyond iRacing. And certainly, you know, maybe you can start doing a bit of broadcasting with yourself on that avenue. But Ryan, again, thank you very much for coming in. And certainly, we'll know that Ian has a cheerleading section here in the chat for the broadcast. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was nice talking to you guys as well.
Very nice to talk to you too, sir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Ryan Mazumdar, certainly a close friend here of Ian Pagadalo, who I hate to say it has retired this race. So certainly the commentator's curse, maybe not prevalent with us, but the YouTube chat actually having an effect today.
Yeah, I think we're not going to talk about Aryan anymore, and we're not going to look at the chat anymore, and he'll have a great third race. In the meantime, we've got Ethan Orr battling against Alex McLean. They're battling for third place. Charles-Etienne Boucher has opened up a pretty big gap in first, and Stuart Rass has got a little bit of a gap to these guys in second. So the real battle here is for the third spot on the podium as of right now.
Well, certainly we're seeing that position move around a little bit here, and certainly a good battle indeed. You can see Alex McLean currently, it almost looks like a little bit like Leopard Print-esque in places, this paint job, and that's actually a Britannia iSports logo right there on the hood of that car. But you're going to see this slipstream very much in action as they're going down the start-finish straight, and very smart move there. While he is taking the inside line, he is making sure he keeps his opponent. Well, I say smart move. He's left him a bit more space there. Yep, and he's already going to go and take that outside line back with maybe a little bit of leapfrog action going on and a gentleman's agreement, perhaps, so they can work together in the attempt to catch Stuart Ross. But currently, Stuart Ross up 8 positions in this second race, with Alex McLean up an astonishing 10 positions. As we have a look back very quickly with Rob Wright as well, also up a fantastic 7 positions and currently trying to chase down Michael Lenters.
Yeah, he's had some good battles, Michael Lenters and Rob Wright tonight, and looks like this is another one. Michael Lenters is holding him off for now, but once again, as we come up to that long straightaway, as long as you're in position and close enough, anything can happen. We've got a bunch of technical section of this track to go before they get there, and you got to stay in the draft nice and tight.
Absolutely, as you can see here, oh, that's not what he needed to happen. Goes and dips the wheel a little bit wide, but again, I do find that the draft can indeed be very forgiving, and certainly I did make a little bit of a hash of a car earlier, and the draft actually kept me in the running, and that's going to do exactly the same for the number 7 machine, sorry, the 7th place machine of Michael Renters. You can see there he's in hot pursuit of Rob Wright, but we're going to return back to Ethan Orr, because I do believe Alex McLean has been able to take that 3rd spot, but for how long, ladies and gentlemen, for how long? The gap down to Stuart Ross, 2.3 seconds as it stands.
Yeah, I think these guys are playing it pretty smart right now. They're just, if they're very smart, they're just going to keep working like they did last lap. They're going to leapfrog, make up the position, leapfrog the next lap until they're right on the back of Stewart, and then they're battling for second. And nice, and looks like that's what they're doing. They're just not fighting, and they're not defending. Hey, let's go up. Let's try and grab second. Second's still available. First, I think, is checked out, but second is within range for them.
Well, certainly, you know, every point is going to matter here in this championship, and certainly with the prize being a real experience, getting to drive a real Formula Vee, is certainly want to try and capitalize on the points as much as you can. As I say that, Rob Wright and Michael Lenters, these guys are still going hard at it, and you can see there from the blimp camera that slipstream coming in, and it looks like Lenters is going to be heavily under attack here from Rob Wright. Yep, Rob Wright's at the behind section here, and you can see there as they're going into this very technical section, taking a nice, beautiful bit of curb there. Now, myself, I've never been quite sure what the best line is through this section. Certainly, I think it varies almost a little bit with the car. If you head out wide, you can almost straight line sections of this track, and this is exactly what I'm on about. If he forces it too wide there, they are indeed going to slow themselves down and push themselves further away from this gentleman here, Chuck Carvalho, who's currently rocking the 5th spot. But we're going to go back again, and you see yet again Ethan Orr is now ahead of Alex McLean. These guys are swapping over pretty much consistently every lap at this point, and that gap to Stuart Ross is indeed sinking. They closed down about a second in the past lap or so.
Yeah, it looks like in this case, Alex didn't get the exit he was looking for to the last corner, so he's not going to be able to make that leapfrog. But if they keep making up positions, they got to start moving up a little quicker than they are doing right now, or they're not going to catch Stewart. Stewart's you know, he's maintaining about a 1.5 gap or a little more, and they got to get moving.
Well, I certainly think there's definitely a bit of a gentleman's agreement going on, or a mutual understanding that while third and fourth is good, second and third is indeed better. And certainly, as much as I've commentated on Stuart Ross, I think I may have even raced with him a little bit before as well. Genuinely, usually he's generally pretty tidy. Does that look like a little bit of a lock up there from the 69 machine of Alex McLean? Thankfully did not kill his what appears to be a teammate at this point of Ethan Orr, but you know, it's definitely not the result I was looking for. But actually, I think we got another battle going on, albeit at the back of the field, ladies and gentlemen. So Fortulo and Xavier Martin, these guys were up front leading, you know, certainly having an incredible place, and these guys are actually going side by side for what currently stands as 12th place.
Yeah, I mean, if that's all you got to race against, that's all you got. So if you're racing for 12th, at least you're racing. Bad luck for both drivers, but nice to see them back on the track and still battling hard and not giving up.
Absolutely, and certainly as well, you know, it's good practice as well, but certainly these guys are still going at it as well, and it's great to see we've got battles happening throughout the field. And I do wonder, that gap to Chuck Carvella, Richard, maybe you can expand on this a little bit, but I have a feeling that these guys are indeed doing very similar as the Orr and McLean strategy and are absolutely catching up. But I think Dennis Barkhouse perhaps looking to get in that mix. We could see a four-way fight near the end. As I say that, these guys running incredibly close, Rob Wright and Michael Lenters. I'm not entirely sure at this point if there is a bit of teamwork going on or if it's just catching Carvello by chance. But certainly Ethan Orr and McLean, they are definitely catching up to Stuart Ross. That gap now down to about 1.3 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, they're just driving smart. I mean, the only way to make up positions, they can make up one if they pass the guy ahead of them. They can make up two or more if they work together to get the guy ahead of them. So it's all, you know, everybody's your teammate until you come down to the last lap or two.
Well, certainly, generally, whenever I've had a teammate on track, usually it's ended up with me accidentally spinning them, and by all means, that's not intentional. But certainly, if you're a friend of mine on the track, you have very good reason to be alarmed. Certainly, Michael Broomhead can attest to that one. Actually, yourself, when we raced on track, did I ever hit you, or...? I'm sure
you did. It's just been a long time ago.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, after this race, I am indeed going to have to race Richard just to, you know, put him in his place and let him know who the boss man is. And I can promise you, it's not going to be me. It's not going to be him. It's probably going to be his wife on this occasion. But certainly, Alex McLean and Ethan Orr doing everything they can. And, yep, you can see there that gap to Stuart Ross down to a second as Charles-Étienne Boucher is absolutely running away with it right now. 5.5 seconds clear of this battle that's spicing up to be for second place.
Yeah, we've only got, I think, just under 2 laps remaining, Zippy, so it's now or never. They've got to close this gap, so by the end of the straightaway on the last lap, they're right there, and then it's anybody's. It's anybody's for second. So, hey, this is going to be a great finale here.
Well, certainly, it's now or never, and Bon Jovi popped into my head because I am not going to live forever. Ladies and gentlemen, having all of the musical puns today. The sad part is, you know, I didn't have anything to drink of potency before the oh dear, a little bit of a lock up there from Ethan Orr. Almost put it in the grass, but you know what? Is this going to be exactly what McLean needed? Now, don't get me wrong, these guys had a little bit of an understanding, but with a gap like that, I think that may have lost Ethan Orr a chance at the podium, and works out fantastically for this gentleman. That's Alex McLean currently up 10 positions, Stuart Ross up 8 positions. Is this going to be what McLean needs to try and get a good point? So certainly he's in the draft. Ethan Orr, 1.5 seconds back. I'm going to say he's probably lost the draft at this point, but I'm still... am I seeing a white flag here? We're going to keep an eye out.
Yeah, we should be coming up to the white flag, but...
Yep, white flag.
Marty. And here we come. We're going on the last lap, and it's now or never. I think Alex McLean's done a great job of working to Stuart Ross, and entering turn 1, he's going on the wide side. Stuart Ross is getting smart. He's taking the inside, entering for the next corner, trying to hold Alex at bay. Man, here we go. This is going to be tight. This is a tough section to go too wide. Alex gets smart, tucks in behind. It's not over yet, folks. We've still got a lot of racing left. It's a short lap, but it's, you know, we got a long straightaway to finish this up to the checker flag.
Well, certainly if I was riding in the 69 car machine right now, I would be staying tucked right behind Stuart Ross, at least for the minute. As I say that, Stuart Ross looked like he pushed a little bit wide there, and they're going to go side by side through this section. Now, keep an eye on Ethan Orr behind. This might be exactly what he needed. Certainly in this chicane, if you go side by side, it can be absolutely catastrophic for your outright pace. And already you can see half a second gained by Ethan Orr in the background, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Alex McLean is really going to have to get the absolute pedal on if he wants to get a shot at Stuart Ross here. You can see on board from behind Stuart Ross. I think this is going to be the move. This could be what McLean needs to get that second spot away. Is there going to be enough real estate? You can see the closing speed is huge. There's going to be a drag race to the line. Can Stuart Ross hold on? You can see McLean closing in for third. It's going to be incredibly close, not quite close enough. Didn't quite have the real estate as Charles Etienne Boucher, my apologies Charles, takes first place. Stuart Ross takes second with Alex McLean in third and Ethan Orr in fifth. And actually we've got a battle still going on. Yep, I do believe Rob Wright and Michael Lenters, it was 800ths of a second at the line, ladies and gentlemen. 800ths. Dennis Barkhouse not quite able to catch up. And then obviously Fortulo. And these guys are still going at it. Ladies and gentlemen, we've still got action happening on the track. Fortulo versus Javier Martin. Now, the seasoned Formula Vee driver, is he going to be able to use some of that wisdom he's gained? You can see Javier Martin going a little bit wide there. He's kind of out of sync at this point. Is this going to be what Tulo needs to try and get the pass done at the line?
Oh, Tulo's battling hard. I think he's got him set up where he wants him now. He's a lot tighter now, and I think it's his to. Oh, a little wide. He's holding on, and this is going to be even tighter than that battle for we saw earlier for the podium.
Oh, it is indeed going to come down to the line if we go in the blimp cam. Oh my gosh, that was close. Oh, hey!
And that's the way I always finish a race at Summit Point Raceway myself, and Thor's probably very frustrated what happened in that race and the first race, and just decided to take it out on the car.
Well, I think part of that as well, I know some of the leagues that four runs in, and at the end of every race, it's almost like the pit party apocalypse of flying Formula V's, 1600s, or indeed a spec racer Ford. It is incredible the kind of distance you can get. And myself, actually, I believe it was a Formula V. Yeah, it was Formula V. I managed to launch off a car the other day, get it upside down, and slide the car at such high speed that it was recognized as one of the best crashes the league has seen for a long while. And I take pride in that, ladies and gentlemen. But let's take a quick look at the results here. Richard, would you do the honors?
Well, since I'm here this time, I will. Zippy in first place. He had himself a commanding 6.8 second lead. That was Charles Etienne Boucher. Stuart Ross managed to hang on for second place. Alex McLean, Mr. Googly Eyes himself, in third. We had Ethan Orr in fourth. Chuck Carvalho was fifth. Rob Wright, sixth, followed by Michael Lenters in seventh. They had a great battle all race long. Came right down to the wire. Nice job, guys. We had Dennis Barkhouse in eighth. Evan Bigger-Jones in ninth, followed by Eugene Cartini, the league organizer and the prize giver awayer, in 10th. We had Chris Marion in 11th. And then we had Xavier Martin battling Thor Tulo for 12th and 13th. And Aryan Pagadella with his bad luck again, finishing in 14th.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I do have a feeling that my co-host may have had to put his binoculars on to read that. I have a feeling that may have been occurring on that occasion. Certainly the font may be a little bit small for the more senior residents here at Pit Road Productions. And I'm not going to deny it. I sympathize what he's going through, but I'm still going to absolutely roast him something rotten at the same time for doing it. But currently these guys are out on a warm-up, ladies and gentlemen. So Ian Pagadala is currently out there just getting a little bit warmed up and, having a little bit of fun right now. It's just a brief 5-minute warm-up. But actually, let's go over the points. Here we go. Lap traffic is how they know Chuck Carvalho through Enduro Elite, formerly Lucky Dog Racing in Canada. Now, Lucky Dog Racing I've heard of. If I'm not mistaken, Lucky Dog is kind of like the Canadian version of Lemons, if I'm not mistaken. So, lap traffic, if you do have Discord and a microphone, maybe we'll have a little bit about a chat with you about how you know Chuck Carvalho. Maybe we can get you in the booth very, very shortly. Just let us know. We will put up the Discord link for you. There you go. And maybe we'll have a quick chat with you in the very warm-up that we've got about 2 minutes left to go.
Yeah, this warm-up, I think it just gives time for people who had a little issues earlier to just get comfortable back in the car, get that confidence level back up, and reset the mind, get ready to go racing again, and try and forget what's happened earlier this evening. We're going to watch Arjen just make a couple of laps around here, and let's see if he can finish the third race and have a little better success than he had in the first two. We've had fantastic action, both in the first race and the second race. Whether people were battling for first in the first race, we had fantastic battles for second in the second race, and as well as 6 and 7. So that's a nice thing when you get a good combo like these Formula V's racing at a nice track that's appropriate for them, like Summit Point. You got a nice long straightaway with drafting. Keeps everything close. As long as you stay in that draft, we're going to have some exciting action. And these guys have been driving. This is now going to be their 6th race. They've learned that the key is not necessarily get out front right away, but just stay in the pack and be there when it counts. That said, Charles-Etienne Boucher just ran away with the last race, and he managed to break away from the pack.
Well, I am hearing in the chat, actually, don't jinx your driver like I did. That was from Ryan, who we had in the booth very shortly ago. But a couple of drivers still out doing a little bit of practice. Alex McLean is one of them. Lap Traffic having a zipper emoji, so I'm guessing they're going to choose the route of silence. Certainly myself, I mean, given the right to remain silent, but certainly not the ability on a couple of occasions. Not that I've ever been arrested, as Alex McLean absolutely goes to the beach on that corner. So certainly maybe getting a little bit loose at the back end. Ethan Orr currently out as this warm-up, ladies and gentlemen, does indeed come to a close. So we're going to be getting ready for the final round here for this evening. Certainly, it's been a very lively race so far. I've certainly enjoyed it, but Rob, who do you think is going to be the people to keep an eye out for in this final event of the evening?
Well, I'm Richard here, but I'll ask Rob when I talk to him next. I got you back, Sippy.
Senior moment.
Well, I'm younger and more beautiful, so who to look out for? I'm not going to look at the top 3 here. I think that's anybody's ball game. It's Charles-Etienne Boucher's to lose, but anybody up there can battle for it as long as they stay in the draft. I'm really looking forward to watching Rob Wright and Michael Lenters have another nice battle. That was fantastic racing in the mid-pack.
Oh, certainly, and I'm definitely, if I'm going to pick somebody out who's really going to move through the field, I got a feeling that these 3 people actually at the back of the grid right now, Xavier Martin, Fultulo, and Arjen Pagadala. I have a feeling that these 3 gentlemen here are certainly going to be to keep an eye out for. We saw some hard charges occurring, but you know what? It's worked out very well for this gentleman here. That's Charles-Etienne Boucher. Certainly, very, very successful result for them so far. Managing to get some absolutely fantastic points. I gotta say, I'm liking the paint as well. Very professional as we're looking here through the grid. Chuck Carvalho, actually the last one to grid. So Lap Traffic, by all means, maybe give your friend a little bit of encouragement there. And I do believe it's worked. They are now gridded. No, Carvalho has not gone to the grid. Oh dear.
Oh no, that's a big surprise. I hope he did not have to take a break or have an equipment failure. Anyhow, we gotta go. Sorry, but we've got to go without you, and let's see what happens here. We've got some hard chargers coming up from the back. We've got Charles-Etienne Boucher leading off on the front. Let's watch what happens entering turn 1.
Well, I'll tell you what, Richard, final race of the night. Go ahead, sir. Call the action.
Well, Charles-Etienne Boucher got himself off to a great jump. He's hugging the inside line, trying to make sure nobody can get near him. Nobody can go around him. He's got himself a good gap. He's holding them off. They're looking like they're too wide. We got Stuart Ross in second. Alex McLean, he's hugging the inside. We're going 3 wide almost, but no. Everybody's keeping it tight. So far, so good. I'm not going to say everything went well because last time I did that, it did not.
Well, certainly Richard Swindell's not Rob Campbell this evening is having a lot of fun, absolutely having the commentator's curse there in action, but these guys are running incredibly close together. You can see here from Michael Lenters, actually a couple of them dipping in the sand, and it looks like Alex McLean already on the offensive there, trying to make a move on the inside of Ethan Orr. These guys have already battled once before, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to be doing it again as they're currently resting in P3 and P4, very close between it, and one of the drivers I said to keep an eye on, Ian Pagadala, already up 4 spots as they're going 3 wide through here. That's brave, and I do believe they've actually managed to get away with it. And ladies and gentlemen, incredible spatial control there, but look at the gap that's emerged ahead of them, already opened up to 1.6 seconds. That is exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah, I mean, 3 right through the carousel is craziness, and it's going to cost them, but you know, Arian's trying to get himself back up into position, and he's making a great move, but he's going to have to, it's going to be tough to pull up now that he's out of that draft.
Oh, absolutely. And you can see there, Etienne Boucher not being given a free pass for the lead this time. Stuart Ross, Alex McLean, Ethan Orr, Rob Wright, all of these guys certainly keeping them honest. It does look like somebody's dropped back a little bit. Yeah, that is Eugene Cartini. He's kind of hanging back a little bit there. But I do see some support in the chat as well for Xavier Martin. So is it Xavier? Xavier, by all means, guys, correct us in the chat, because obviously we're a little bit indecisive at this point.
Well,
so go ahead.
I'm going with Xavier. But,
Xavier.
Yeah, see, we're in Canada, Zippy. We pronounce it Canadian English, not British English. So,
well, you say that. The next person who says that Jaguar is pronounced Jaguar, I will personally correct and stand on that hill and indeed die on it. Telling the British guy that the once British guy. Oh dear. That's a launch.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, and that
Rob Wright.
looks like Rob Wright. We're not going to get to see that great battle I was hoping to see. He got in contact with, I think, Evan Bigger-Jones.
Well, certainly that was not what they were looking for to occur there, but I do believe that the lead pack is currently at 4, ladies and gentlemen. You got Charles Etienne Boucher in first, Stuart Ross in second, Alex McLean in third, Ethan Orr is in there. Actually, I think it may be even bigger than that even. Yep, no, Michael Lenner's in there, even Bigger Jones, a little bit further back, but certainly still within the drafting range. If we look behind him, a little bit of clean air, so the top 6 all vying for the podium at this point.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. You got to stay in that draft. I mean, the race is not won on the first 5 laps here. It's going to be won on the last 2 or 3 as long as you're in that lead pack. We got a good battle. Looks like they're going 2 wide. Now we're... Oh, man, we got 3 sets of cars. We got 6 cars all tight. Everybody giving each other space, though, so far, so that's good to see. Everybody... Whoa, man, 3 wide. Oh, wow, 3 wide. We're coming up to turn 2. This is insane, Zippy.
Well, I think insane may be the word. I've got a feeling carnage may be how it ends, but they've managed to sort it out. Stuart Ross has taken the lead, but for how long? Charles Etienne Boucher pushed off that top spot, and certainly Alex McLean doing everything you can. This is the view from behind Stuart Ross. Certainly a very intimidating view indeed. It looks like McLean trying to make a move on the inside of Etienne Boucher. There we go, better camera. Incredibly close racing as they head into this technical part of the track. The huge battles happening throughout the field, actually, as Xavi, I'm not going to do it.
Xavier.
Yes, Xavier Martin is indeed having a great battle there with Chris Marion as well, but I think we're going to stay with the lead pack for now. As much as I don't like to only focus on the leadership, ladies and gentlemen, it appears that the top 6 is indeed almost separating to become a top 3 right now, as Etienne Boucher is there on the inside, but for how long, ladies and gentlemen? For how long? Stuart Ross takes the outside line. Alex McLean, he's going to be there, and he's got the slipstream behind, but I do believe that is a huge charge coming from Michael Lenters. You can see he's there. He's going to be on the outside. McLean is almost boxed in at this point. That's some smart driving, but are they going to make it 3 wide? Yes, they do. Michael Lenters going up on the outside. Can we see 4 wide as they head into turn 1?
Oh, let's hope not, Zippy. 3 wide's plenty enough. And wow. These guys are battling hard.
I do believe we've got 7. We got 7 cars all fighting for the lead at this point. Ladies and gentlemen, incredible action. Dipping a little wheel in the grass. Fortulo up 7 spots. I did say he was one of them to keep an eye out for, as he's currently doing incredibly well. Rolling in this pack, ladies and gentlemen. He's behind McLean right now in 6th place.
Oh, wow. This is what we want. This is what we came to see. This is what everybody came to see. Oh, we got Stuart Ross going a little off track into the gravel, but as long as he can stay with the draft, it's not going to cost him a couple positions. But He's
Oh!
still there for the
Oh!
end. Oh,
Oh!
no, no, no,
Oh,
no!
no. Uh-oh.
We've got somebody on their lid. That's rather unfortunate. Ethan Orr looks like he's on his roof.
Well, let's take a look and see exactly what happened. As you can see here, that is... Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, it looks like they just touched wheels, and in open wheel racing, we're not in GT. We're not in tin top cars here. You just can't do that and get away with it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that appears to be a barbecue of the lead fight right now. Good news for Etienne Boucher. That's put him in the lead by about 2 seconds. Fortulo is in second with Alex McLean resting in third. Stuart Ross somehow managed to hold on to his car. He's there in fourth, but what an incredible shakeup. Actually, Fortulo up 11 spots right now, ladies and gentlemen. This is definitely the recovery that he was looking for.
Yeah, Thor hasn't had the night he's been looking for so far, but and up 11 spots, a little bit of luck, and a lot of hard driving, and a lot of smarts, and avoiding incidents, and pushing where it's smart to push.
Well, certainly bump drafting is not something you can do in the Formula Vee. So I have been on the receiving end of that, and that was at Laguna Seca, and I certainly ended up eating the wall there. Thank you very much to the individual who got a little bit too close to me on that occasion, as Alex McLean getting incredibly close to the back of Fortulo there. Now, I do wonder, are we going to see the same kind of techniques there as we saw in the race previously? McLean definitely playing the long game, and he was working with Ethan Orr on that occasion, who has sadly, I guess, rest in pieces for that Formula Vee race car for the final race of the evening for Ethan Orr, number 76. But certainly Fortulo, incredible pace. We've seen him there in another league as well that we've had the pleasure of commentating on, and certainly would be my outright favorite to win this series. But certainly right now, not had the best of luck, and Etienne Boucher is absolutely capitalizing on every opportunity that they get. But Fortulo up 11 spots, McLean keeping him honest and lurking in the background by about 1.8 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Stuart Ross, one of the younger drivers there. So still a lot to play for, but we do have a little bit of a battle going on here between Xavier.
Xavier. We don't pronounce the R, apparently. I got so
Xavier.
Yeah.
I tell you what, we may bring in their friend Indeed, just so we can be like, cute. just solely for that.
We did get a little pronunciation lesson in the YouTube chat, and we appreciate that. And we're still going to butcher it, but we're doing our best, guys.
Oh dear. Well, the battle continues for second place right now between Alex McLean and Fortulo, and I do believe these guys are indeed battling. And Mr. Ross, I believe he's 15, 14, that kind of era. I could confirm for you at a later date, but I've seen him racing in quite a few seasons we've been a part of. Actually, has of you, Richard. You raced against Stuart, probably in the F1200 series that we cover, and certainly generally quite a respectable racer, I would say so.
Yeah, I've raced Stuart in several series over the last year and a half, and he's always tough to battle against, but he's always raced me clean. Not that the last season or two I've been anywhere near him, so he's got a little more speed than me typically. But here we got a nice battle. We got Alex McLean, Fortulo. If they're smart, they're just working together because they're trying to push. We still got enough time to catch up to Charles-Etienne Boucher, but not if they start battling each other, because right now that gap is about 3.2 seconds.
Yeah, certainly that gap is getting bigger and bigger with every lap, and I do believe Stuart Ross, they've not managed to gain on him yet. It was 1.6 seconds before, currently resting about 1.9, so these guys are very aware that Stuart Ross is indeed a potent adversary and only a little bit of a ways behind, so these guys, I think, working very smart. Certainly I've got the audio chat turned off for the race session. We had to adjust that a bit earlier on, but these guys are the closest battle happening on track right now. As we have a look back, certainly this person being cheered on in the chat by Ryan Mazumda, Ian Pagadala not having the evening that they were looking for. Currently in 7th place, about 1.8 seconds behind Chris Marion, who, I've got to be honest, we haven't seen too much from Chris this evening, but certainly Eugene Cartini as well. Up 1 place overall so now, right now, but more talented in the real race car, I would say, than in the sim racing world.
Well, it's a different skill set, to be honest with you. You don't get the G-force, you don't get the physical feeling that you're going to get in a real car, and equipment can also play a factor. But Eugene is always competitive, he's always clean, and hey, he's a great guy for putting this on for everybody here to have a chance at winning a ride in his car.
Well, I do believe if anybody would like to rent a drive in that car as well, that is available. Just message Eugene Cartini. And don't get me wrong, if you can't reach him, by all means, message us, pitroadproductionsinc@gmail.com. Give us an email and we will certainly make that connection happen for you. But I do believe we have a cheerleading section as well for the driver of the number 13 car. That's number Martin. Number Martin. That's the number 13 car. I'm not even going out. I've accepted defeat.
Yes, yeah. Martin, or he may be from Quebec, and it could be Marty. I don't know, but we're just going to say the number 5 car. He's sitting in 5th place right now. He's having a decent race. He's up 7 positions. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being up 7 places. Just when you're starting that far back, like Arian was, it's really hard to get up front.
Well, certainly 7 positions gained. Actually, I say that Irons just managed to go and get another one, this time from Chris Marion, ladies and gentlemen. So they're currently up 8 positions. So the top 3 hard chargers right now, Fortulo is in P3, 10 positions gained. Ian Pagadala, they're in P6 with 8 positions gained, but I wonder, are they going to be able to catch up with Martin, who's currently there in P5? The gap is quite big. I'm going to say probably not. A little bit too big of a gap, but certainly the biggest battle going on. We have these 2 guys fighting it out, but right now it's going to end up coming down to the wire, I believe, between McLean and Tulo.
Yeah, I think Charles-Etienne Boucher is running away with this. They're not making up ground. They're actually losing half a second a lap. So it's really between Alex and Thor, and it's a matter of do they want to battle right now and let Stuart Ross get back in it, or they just want to keep working together and then battle when they come down to the last lap or 2.
Absolutely. Now, Tulo is definitely wise with these cars, not only within the real world, but certainly in the sim racing world as well. I'm actually, if I check his I rating right now, it's 4,963, and this is one of the beautiful things I love about these races where they're privately organized is Alex McLean, not even half that, ladies and gentlemen, 1913, and it just goes to show even McLean doesn't do officials, which I know is not true because I've raced him in officials, and actually he's pretty level pegging for me on that avenue, depending on what the car track combination is. But right now he's hanging out with a seasoned veteran of the Formula Vee world, and then not only that, he's having a good race. So I'm really, really proud of the guy. He's doing well, but certainly a little bit of that does go to the drafting capabilities of this car. Certainly it does really assist in the battles that we get to see on track today.
Yeah, well, it's not all about your overall pace as an individual. It's about how you race and your race craft and staying in that draft. Keep battling. Make sure you stay in that draft. That's somewhere where I don't do as well as I should. Alex is doing what he needs to do to hang in there and have a chance at second.
Well, I do believe we may get to have a chat with Julian Bourdique in a few short minutes. So just bear with us there because this race is starting to come to an end. I'm probably going to make a complete hash of that pronunciation as well. But you can see McLean. What? All right, spit it out. What is it?
I was laughing at the pronunciation. I'm sure it was butchered already. So you beat me to it. But it looks like these guys are just working together. They know where they're going to finish as long as they keep working together, keep Stewart back there, and they're just holding on for the last lap, maybe the last lap and a half to make their move on each other.
Well, certainly, that seems to be a little bit of strategy involved. And I got to say, I do feel slightly guilty that we're not giving Etienne Boucher much of a screen time. But ladies and gentlemen, if you run away with the win, there's not really that much to look at. But I do wonder, are we going to see the white flag very shortly? You can see there, he's 5 seconds ahead so far, but not yet at the... Not yet getting to the start finish. We'll have to keep an eye out for Bernie, but I tell you, Barney, close enough. Barney, we'll keep an eye out for Barney. And anyway, who named the iRacing flag waving guy? I don't know where that came from, but we're going to see is Fortulo. I suspect he may hang back. When is going to be the best time to make that pass?
Yeah, Thor's a seasoned veteran, and he knows what he wants to do. It's really, I think, up to Alex. If Alex makes a small mistake, Thor has no choice but to pounce on it. But for right now, I think he's going to stay here. We'll see if he makes that move down the inside. Is that the white flag I saw, Zippy?
I got to be honest, I wasn't looking. I was talking to the YouTube chat. Complete honesty there.
We may want to take a look back so we don't miss the...
Yeah, that looked like a white flag.
So this one's only going to go 11 laps here. Eugene Cartini,
that's a white flag. That's a white flag.
And Charles-Etienne Boucher, a fabulous night for him. But here's where the real battle is. We've got Thor Tulo trying to make a move on Stuart Ross. We've got about half a lap left to go. We're coming up into the technical section, and then we've got that straightaway to finish. This one's anybody's.
Well, I do believe there's another battle happening as well between Chris Marion and Dennis Barkhouse, but we're going to say with the one for P2 right now, it's for Tulo, almost 5,000 iRating versus Alex McLean, and right now McLean is in the lead, but for how long? We're going to go on board with Tulo, and I do suspect this has been very much strategically planned for quite some time. Are we going to see Tulo get in that slipstream and then absolutely slingshot past the 69 car of Alex McLean? And yes, that is indeed, it is exactly what's happening. But he's actually leaving quite a bit of space. There's almost a car width between him. That gap getting ever so closer, and it's going to be a drag race. Can McLean keep it on the track? They're side by side, heading down towards line. We're going to head to blink down. Almost a little bit of contact there, and it's going to be literally on the nose. Oh my gosh, I don't even want to call it, but I think Tulo got it at the line.
You know what? Thor Tulo did get it at the line. I thought, well, here we go. We got another battle here. We got Dennis Barkhouse. And wow, and it looks like we just made that pass at the very end.
Well, Chris Marion losing there at the start-finish line, but we've got to say, I can't even get on to Charles Boucher. He's already left it. Oh, and I think these guys are celebrating.
you know, Zippy, honestly, on that finish, I thought Thor had made his move a little early. He made it before the last corner, and I thought that was going to cost him, but he held off by half a nose.
Well, we're going to take a little bit of a replay here. I'm going to try and get as close an angle as we can. Actually, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Look how close this is. I'm going to try and see if I can slow motion it. Look. So this is how close it was for that lead battle here as they're going towards the finish line. We'll keep an eye out for it. We're going to see it appear on the screen any second now, ladies and gentlemen. Such incredibly close wheel-to-wheel action. And I believe that may have been the line. Don't get me wrong, I'm not really used to looking at it from this angle, but incredibly close. Incredible. And I do believe, is that maybe a little bit of damage on the front of McLean's car as well? Does that look dented into you at the front?
No, I think that, well, it could
no,
be.
It is.
It could just be. It just could be the ugly paint job. No, I'm just kidding you, Zippy. That's a beautiful paint job. Yeah, it looks like he's got a little bit of damage on there, but hey, yeah, fantastic finish, fantastic racing.
Well, it definitely appears that the number 69 car appears to have what I would only describe as a bit of a broken nose, for lack of better words. But ladies and gentlemen, I do believe we have indeed been able to catch up with our race winner. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Charles Etienne Boucher. Richard, some questions for our winner. Yeah, surprise, buddy. Some questions for our race winner.
Well, congratulations, Charles. Fantastic results all night long. 3 wins, it looks like, and you must be stoked. How was the night for you?
It was all right, to be fair. You know, I got lucky in the last 2 races because there was some carnage behind, and that let me break draft. Yeah, that's about it. First race went well. I managed to keep the lead by defending, and yeah, just kept my car out of the big crash and stuff, and yeah, it's about it, to be fair.
Yeah, a lot better result. I mean, last race out 3 weeks ago, you had 1 win and a couple of races that didn't quite go your way, so you must be pleased with tonight.
Yeah, I mean, these cars are so much fun racing in pack, to be fair, because, you know, since they don't have that much power, and draft is a big equation. You know, you never know what's gonna happen. For example, last race, I spun it and managed to finish P3, even though I spun it at the first or second lap or something like that. And then on the last lap of the 3rd race, after a beautiful battle, me and Brendan, which was he wasn't here tonight, that disappoints me. I wanted to have a good battle with him, but yeah, we had a little contact there. But you know, everything's fine. I had a lot of fun, so
that's great.
What matters.
Hey, can I ask you one question? Could you just pronounce your name for us to make sure we get it right for the next race?
That's all good. Charles Etienne Boucher, or you can call me Charles. You know, it doesn't matter. It's as long as, you know.
We got I'm
not really picky with that. So Charles or Boucher, whatever you want. It's up to you guys.
Yeah. Well, anybody you'd like to thank for tonight, Charles?
Of course. I would like to thank WSR. Sorry, shit. eSports Racing Canada. There you go. My bad.
That's all good.
I was trying to get the words right. Other than that, that's about it. Daniel Blanco and George Griffin. That wasn't here tonight, unfortunately. But yeah, I'd like to give a huge shout out to these guys.
Well, we appreciate your time and congratulations on your fantastic night. We look forward to seeing you in 3 weeks' time.
Cheers, boys.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Charles Etienne Boucher, and I may have indeed got that name wrong again, but we have been able to catch up with our second place finisher. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the one and only Mr. Fortulo. Now, don't get me wrong, I picked you out as a favorite quite some time ago, and it's fair to say you definitely delivered on that, but definitely not the evening you were looking for. Tell us a little bit about how you managed to recover an incredible 11 positions in that final race.
Well, Dan, I'm not really sure. Just try to keep my head cool and pick off drivers, and I had a really lovely battle with Alex at the end there. It was at least it was a fun final race. Can't say the same for the other two.
Well, certainly from the booth, we had an absolute pleasure watching you go out there, and certainly as well, if I'm not mistaken, you're currently there in the UK. I remember watching you race in Brands Hatch, and I believe it was absolutely pouring. So certainly, should you be successful in this, do we have the absolute thrill of having you head over to Canada?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, if I can still win the championship after today, I'll be straight on a plane to Canada.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to absolutely have to enforce the border control a little bit more severely. Do we really want to let this guy in? Certainly myself, I will smuggle him across the border for you. And if any immigration officers are watching that, please know I have no talent in doing so. Unless it's for the right price. But ladies and gentlemen, Fortulo, an absolute legend, certainly in the Formula Vee. I've seen him race. I'd say I've raced against him, but I've never got close enough to stand a chance. But what an absolutely fantastic drive from you this evening. Certainly not the luck he was looking for, but still in for a shot, potentially at some championship points. But before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to thank?
Just want to thank Brabham Motorsport, and just want to thank Alex McLean as well for being the only clean driver I was driving with tonight. And to you guys at Pit Road Productions. Yeah, great broadcast.
Well, thank you very much for certainly. It's been a pleasure seeing you on the screen, and certainly it's been great to watch you race. And again, incredible pace there, and it's good to see you having such a battle as well. So we're going to wish you the best of luck and let you go for now, and we're going to see you at the next round, which is going to be Laguna Seca.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much, it was indeed an honor. But I do understand that, Richard, you've been able to catch up with the one and only, the 69 car himself, Alex McLean.
Hey, Alex, congratulations. Fantastic job in that third race.
Thanks. Finally, I got, caught a break. First race wasn't so great for me. I got caught in a little T1 crash, but second race, I really just shot up the ladder. Thankfully, some people kind of spun out, but eventually kind of caught up, and it was fun. Like, it was a really nice just trying to work with other people to catch up to people who were ahead of us, but unfortunately for Etienne, like, it wasn't enough to catch up to him. He was so quick, but it was fun race, to be honest.
Oh no, that was an awesome job. We just noticed, Zippy and I noticed at the end of the third race where honestly, I thought you were going to hold off Thor, but man, that was tight. It looked like you may have had a little bit of damage on the nose of your car. Did you get into any contact earlier in the race?
Actually, I think someone slid across the top of my car earlier in the race. Thankfully, that didn't ruin the aero at all. It didn't feel like that, but it was 0.003 off of a second for me getting second, so that was the gap.
It was fantastic. We watched it on replay in slow motion, looking at the line, and we couldn't say he beat you by a nose because it was half a nose at best. And great job. I've personally raced you for a number of races and seasons in other leagues, and it's always a pleasure, and it's always great to see somebody we know in the booth. So congratulations on your night. Is there anybody you'd like to thank?
I guess I'd like to thank my mom for taking care of me while I was sick for the past couple of days. Yeah, it feels great. So,
Well, it's all about family, and who better to take care of you than your mom? Congratulations again, Alex. We look forward to seeing you in 3 weeks.
yeah. Okay, all right. See you guys. Thanks.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute belter of an evening, but we should actually probably go over the final results. It's certainly on the list of things we've got to be getting done. And actually, let's take a quick look at them here. Hide a few things. There we go. And hit that magic button. Here we go. So for the final race of the evening, Charles-Étienne Boucher was able to take away that win, absolutely ran away with it with about a 6.3 second gap. And then things got interesting. You could just hear him from Alex McLean, who got third with Fortulo in second. 4 thousandths of a second, ladies and gentlemen, as Richard very wisely described, not a nose in it, half a nose. Alex appeared to have had somebody do a little bit of a slide over the top of their car, which I've got to say, incredible talent there to then not only survive it, but to get P3. But Stuart Ross takes P4. Richard, who got P5?
It was Mr. Martin in P5. We're just going to cop out on that one. Xavier, and followed in 6th by Aryan Pagadella, who made a lot of moves to move up there because he was starting right at the back. Dennis Barkhouse, 7th. Followed by Chris Marion in 8th. Eugene Cartini in 9th place, followed by Rob Wright in 10th. Then in 11th, we had Ethan Orr, who got into a big crash. Michael Lenters in 12th. Evan Bigger-Jones in 13th. And Chuck Carvalho. All these guys had some problems. But hey, let's see what we do next time out.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute treat here being at Summit Point Raceway today, and certainly with the Canadian F1200 eSports Championship. And I got to say, it's been an absolute pleasure here with the chat as well. Now, remember, we're going to be back in about a month's time, 28th of February, if my memory serves me correctly. We'll put the schedule back up for you guys. There you go. My memory actually worked that time. Damn.
It did, but that's only 3 weeks, Dippy, not quite a month. So 3 weeks, it looks like we're running we're running 3 weeks, and then a month.
It's not consistent. I remember when we went over the schedule with Eugene, I'm like, something's not adding up there. Anyway, my apologies, and also as well, by all means in the chat, give Richard some stick for being so pedantic to his co-host. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be back on the 28th of February. But I got to say, Richard, it's been an absolute pleasure. Certainly, Summit Point, it really did deliver on the action. We saw highs, we saw lows, we saw fantastic passes. Laguna Seca is the next track. What do you think is going to be the best, the best action we're going to see? What corner do you think perhaps is going to be the hot spot to watch for some of these great passing maneuvers we've seen so far tonight?
Well, I don't expect as tight racing as we had in the first 2 weeks. Lime Rock's a shorter track. Summit Point's a shorter track. Laguna Seca, you're getting to a little larger track, so I think we're going to have a little more gaps. But coming into turn 1, I think it's the Andretti curve. I think that's where most of the action is going to be happening.
You know what? I think that is absolutely valid. If you have a big straight like that, certainly it's I think it's a double apex corner. I just know it was 2 big left-handers for me. A double apex I've not quite managed to master. Damn it, you're giving me stick for missing the apex on the normal corner. Why worry about a double? Why worry about a double? The apex is in the next state. But ladies and gentlemen, certainly
look
myself,
at the shirt, Zippy.
Yeah,
look at the shirt. I wore it just for you.
I did notice the shirt, ladies and gentlemen. if you're not seen Richard on a broadcast before, he is notoriously outrageous with his clothing choices, ladies and gentlemen. Honestly, I feel it would be more appropriate on a bikini. But don't get me wrong, I don't know if I'd want to see Richard in a bikini, but there you go, that's a different thought. As we head back to Laguna Seca, myself, I think the final turn is going to be quite a hot spot, but then, you got to ask yourself, is it going to be worth trying to make the pass with such a big straight following, and then the passing opportunities in turn 1? But you know what, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to leave that thought with you, certainly the Laguna Seca thoughts, I might add, until about 3 weeks' time. Right at you, Richard. 3 weeks' time, ladies and gentlemen. But that's all from me today. My name is Daniel Zippy Salmon. I've been doing the production today, doing some commentary. Alongside me has been Richard Swindells, who we've not yet named. By all means, chat, viewers, you can send me a message about what you think we should name Richard, because if not, I'm going to do it. And I don't know if he wants that, but it's been an absolute pleasure having you guys along today. Some fantastic racing, fantastic communication, and with the chat. We even had part of the chat come in the booth with us. That's definitely a first time we've done that, I think, on Pit Road Productions. But a lot of fun. But ladies and gentlemen, that's all from us today, and we're going to see you. Actually, we'll be back tomorrow morning or afternoon, depending on your time zone. It's going to be 11:20 Eastern for the Almeida Academy, ladies and gentlemen. So this is students of Almeida's Academy. We're going to be watching the top split of that, commentating on it, and certainly it's spicing up to be a very good battle. Certainly we've seen the M2 really do some interesting maneuvers, very hard to pass in that car. But if you want more of that, you've got to wait till tomorrow. And then on Monday, we have the Washington District Club Region. Nope. We'll go WDCR, SCCA. There's so many, you get it. And even the league organizer gets it. They're here on Monday night, 8 o'clock Eastern. They're going to be in the M2 as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, lots of action to look forward to here on Pit Road Productions. But again, that's all from me, Daniel the Zippy Salmon, and from my very vibrantly dressed cohort, Richard Swindells. Thank you very much for watching, and we're going to see you very shortly.
Good night, folks.